We should know the result of the election on November 3rd.
But the final numbers are never actually in by midnight election day. Political analysts and news networks project winners based on partial counts. But this year, the race might be too close to call due to the historic number of early votes in mail-in ballots.
It just takes longer to process, prepare, and count absentee ballots than it does ballots cast in a polling place.
A candidate needs 270 electoral votes to win, and due to a July Supreme Court ruling, states can now require electors vote with the popular vote, which means every ballot counts.
I suspect the most likely kind of post-election litigation is over the rejection of absentee ballots. Again, back to the New York primary, 1 in 5 ballots were rejected by election officials for not complying with state legal requirements, and litigation was then filed contesting the rejection of those absentee ballots. And I suspect that's the same kind of litigation we might see after the general election.
There's nothing new about voting by mail, but this year the sheer amount could delay election results. Florida and North Carolina have been counting mail-in votes for weeks and were set to release results as soon as polls close. But not all mail-in ballots will be counted by the end of the night. For some states, it could take days, a week, or even longer.
Counting ballots for 2 weeks, which is totally inappropriate, and I don't believe that that's by our laws. I don't believe that. So we'll see what happens.
In all 50 states, mail-in votes must be sent by Election Day. In 28 states, they must also arrive by the time polls close. In the other 22, ballots are counted if they arrive after the election, as long as they have a postmark of November 3rd or before. Massachusetts, Mississippi, and Maryland do not permit the processing of mailed ballots until after the polls close. That led to a call to vote in person. Typically, mail-in votes take longer to count than ballots cast in person, so initial results that indicate either a red or blue wave could be premature. In 2018, Arizona Republican Martha McSally was leading by more than 14,000 votes election night, then lost to Democrat Christian Sinema days later after hundreds of thousands of mail-in ballots were tallied. President Trump and Democrat Joe Biden could face a similar situation. The U.S. Supreme Court recently ruled in Pennsylvania to allow mail-in ballots up to 3 days after the election, as long as it is postmarked by today, which means it is unclear the actual day will know who will be in the White House the next 4 years. Ben Kennedy, CBN News.